Welcome to our latest Wandering Walks of Wonder walking tour. Today we're headed to downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids has a rich history as well as a diverse history that dates back to the early 19th century. As we go through this walk, we'll learn a little bit more about Grand Rapids itself as well as some of the buildings, people, and events that have happened in town. Grand Rapids was originally inhabited by various Native American tribes, including the Ottawa tribes, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi. The first permanent European settler, Luis Campo, arrived in the area in 1826, establishing a trading post along the Grand River. We'll see that Grand River here in just a bit. One of the first historic buildings that we see here at the beginning of our walk is St. Mark's Episcopal Church. The congregation's story dates back to 1836 when it was established as an Episcopalian parish long before Grand Rapids became a city. The first church was erected in 1840 but quickly became too small for the growing community. The present structure that we see today was completed in 1848, making it Grand Rapids' oldest public building. Over the years, it has underwent many expansions, notably in 1872 to achieve its current cruciform shape. From the mid to late 19th century, Grand Rapids continued to grow. The abundance of timber in the region led to the development of a thriving logging industry in the mid-19th century. This in turn laid the foundation for the city's renowned furniture manufacturing industry. By the late 19th century, Grand Rapids has become a leading center for furniture production in the United States, earning it its nickname, Furniture City. On our right is the Kendall College of Art and Design. KCAD traces its roots back to 1928 when it was established as the Kendall School of Design. It was founded by Helen Miller Kendall and a group of artists and educators who sought to provide professional art education in Grand Rapids. Initially, the school offered evening classes in drawing and painting, but as its reputation continued to grow, it expanded its curriculum to include courses in illustration, design, and other fine arts disciplines. In 1946, the school became affiliated with Ferris Institute, now Ferris State University, leading to its expansion and the introduction of new programs. In 1987, Kendall School of Design was granted college status by the state of Michigan, becoming Kendall College of Art and Design. From the late 19th to early 20th century, Grand Rapids' economy continued to diversify with the growth of industries such as gypsum mining, cereal production, as well as manufacturing. The Grand Rapids and Indiana Railroad, which was completed in the late 19th century, facilitated transportation and further fueled the economic growth of the city. In the 20th century, Grand Rapids emerged as a cultural and educational center. The city is home to several institutes of higher education, including Grand Valley State University and Aquinas College. Grand Rapids was also the home for Gerald R. Ford, who was President of the United States, and there is actually a very nice museum dedicated to the life and presidency of this 38th President of the United States. One of the more beautiful and historic blocks of buildings here in downtown Grand Rapids is the Ledyard Buildings. In September of 1857, a fire devastated 25 buildings along Monroe Avenue. Despite the destruction, the area underwent swift reconstruction with these new commercial structures that emerged. There are about seven structures in this historic district, including the Ledyard building itself and the Aldrich block. This beautiful brick building that we see here, brick and stone building, is called the Trust Building. The Michigan Trust Company was a pioneer trust establishment in the state, founded in 1889. Just 2 years later, they began building this building here at the intersection of Ottawa and Pearl Streets. This location held significance as it had been previously the residence and workplace of William Haldane, recognized as the leader of Grand Rapids' early furniture industry. His house was raised to clear space for what would become the loftiest structure in both the city and the state. The Michigan Trust Building distinguishes itself as Grand Rapids' first office building purposely conceived for such a function. Modeled after the architectural style of H. Richardson, it stands as a prominent creation by architect Solomon S. Beeman. The building itself was completed in 1892, with additional extensions added in 1913 and 1928. We're now taking a look at one of the taller buildings in the downtown area, and that's the McKay Tower. In 1890, the Wonderly building was first erected on this site. The first two floors would later become McKay Tower, which was constructed in 1915 and originally served as the Grand Rapids National Bank building. Between 1921 and 1927, another 11 floors were added, and in 1942, Grand Rapids businessman and politician Frank D. McKay acquired the tower from the Grand Rapids National Bank. That's why it's called the McKay Tower today. During the early 1940s, 2 additional mechanical floors were incorporated into the structure. From its completion in 1927 until 1983, McKay Tower stood as the tallest building in Grand Rapids. As I've talked about, in the early 1900s, Grand Rapids experienced rapid growth, with the population exceeding 112,000 by 1910. This expansion spurred the development of grand architectural marvels throughout the city. Here we see the Paintland Hotel, which opened its doors in 1913 and is a beautiful Beaux Arts design building. Visitors flocking to Grand Rapids at the time, especially during the city's furniture shows, chose the Paintland for its elegance. The hotel boasted one of the largest gold leaf ceilings in the world, as well as had this Mediterranean ambiance through its classical columns and terracotta embellishments both inside and out. In 1923, recognizing the demand, a 189-room addition was added to the hotel, and by 1925, the Paintland had garnered national acclaim, earning a spot among America's top 10 hotels. In fact, in 1954, the hotel hosted Queen Juliana and Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, and it culminated in a grand royal luncheon that was attended by 250 guests. On our right is a portion of Welsh Auditorium, also known as Civic Auditorium. This was once a 3,800-seat multi-purpose arena and convention center in Grand Rapids. Despite being long desired, Grand Rapids finally secured a public auditorium during the Great Depression. To alleviate unemployment in the city, the city manager headed a project that in 1930 raised $1.5 million for construction of the auditorium. Civic Auditorium served for a long time as the home of the Grand Rapids Hornets of the National Professional Basketball League and the Grand Rapids Hoops of the Continental Basketball Association. In 1975, it was renamed the George Welsh Civic Auditorium. The auditorium section itself was imploded in 2003, leaving just the front facade and lobby intact. In February of 2005, those remaining parts were incorporated into the steel case ballroom of the DeVos Place Convention Center. We've now reached the Grand River. This is actually where part of the founding of Grand Rapids occurred. And just a little bit from here, you could actually go down and walk along a river walk and see some of the rapids in Grand Rapids. The two bridges that we see here, both on the left and right, are also historic bridges that have been around for over 100 years. The building on our right here that we're walking back into the downtown area and seeing is known as the Exhibitors Building, which was also called the Fine Arts Building. In 1875, Felix Randeville and Simon Sykes opened a leather goods workshop specializing in industrial belts. Randeville soon bought out his partner and subsequently purchased a larger building on Pearl Street, along with adjacent property on Lion Street. He constructed a small factory and power plant on the river, and between 1900 and 1910, he built what is now the Exhibitors Building next to that plant. This building was initially designed to house business offices for smaller companies. In 1925, during Grand Rapids' furniture-making boom, local developer Gustav Hendricks envisioned a set of furniture exhibition buildings near the city's largest hotel, the Paintland, which is now called the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel. He first acquired the Nelson Mather building across from the Paintland, quickly selling out the space even before completely renovations were done. Hendricks then purchased Randeville's office building on Lion and extensively remodeled it to house furniture showrooms and renamed it the Fine Arts Building. However, during the Great Depression, many exhibitors vacated their spaces, leading to a decline in the tenancy of the building. The city eventually had to take over the school for back taxes, and in 1943 the building was leased to the U.S. Army Weather Service School during World War II. But in 1945, a group of local businessmen purchased the building, began renovations to house additional furniture showrooms, and renamed it back to the Exhibitors Building. A beautiful urban park here in the downtown area is called the Rosa Parks Circle. During the warmer months, it serves as a multi-purpose facility that hosts events such as concerts and dances. In the winter, the circle is transformed into an ice rink. Beneath the ice, 166 fiber optic lights are embedded to represent the Michigan night sky as it appeared at midnight on January 1st, year 2000. This area was designed by renowned artist Maya Lin, best known for her work on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. On August 7, 2012, history was made at Rosa Parks Circle when it became the site of a Guinness World Record for the largest number of people swing dancing in unison, with 656 participants in an event organized by the Grand Rapids Original Swing Society. The Grand Rapids Art Museum, also known as GRAM, is an art museum located here in downtown Grand Rapids. It's known for its diverse collections that range from Renaissance to modern art, with special collections focusing on the 19th and 20th century European and American art forms. Among its most notable holdings is Richard Diebenkorn's 1963 work called Ingleside. There are over 5,000 works of art, including 3,500 prints, drawings, and photographs. The museum itself was founded in 1910 as the Grand Rapids Art Gallery, and soon after that, the museum adopted its current name as the Grand Rapids Art Museum. The building was initially housed at a former residence on Fulton Street, but relocated in 1981 to the historic Federal Building here on Pearl Street. In 1916, the Grand Rapids Savings Bank constructed a new headquarters building here at 60 Monroe Center. It later became known as the People's Building. And as we look up, we take a look at another historic as well as beautiful building here in the downtown area. And that building was once called the Grand Rapids Trust Company building. This building was constructed in 1926 and is a beautiful Art Deco style type skyscraper that's constructed with steel and granite and features these soaring piers with receding upper floors as well as a terracotta facade. If you take a look at some of the reliefs that are on the building, you will see sculptures by Corrado Perducci that incorporates Native American as well as Michigan motifs into the building itself. It's very quite beautiful when you stand there and look right up into it. To our right, we get a glimpse of the Van Andel Arena. This is a multi-purpose arena located here in the downtown area. Since its opening, the arena has attracted over 5 million patrons in its first 5 years from 1996 to 2001. It serves as the home of the Grand Rapids Griffins of the American Hockey League, as well as the Grand Rapids Gold of the NBA G League. Starting in January 2024, it also becomes the home of the Grand Rapids Rise of the Pro Volleyball Federation. Oops, excuse me.
Yeah.
The Grand Rapids Civic Theater and School of Theater Arts was founded in 1925 and has grown into one of the largest community theaters in the United States. The theater itself occupies an 80,000 square foot facility that includes 4 historic buildings, including the Majestic Theater, the Whole Building, the Botsford Building, and the Wyndham Building. To our left are the Fitzgerald residence, which were once a historic YMCA building here in Grand Rapids. Named for William Fitzgerald, a pioneer who originally established a settlement along the Owashitani River in what now is the heart of downtown Grand Rapids. The building itself was originally constructed in 1915 and was home to the Grand Rapids YMCA for nearly 90 years before the Y moved to a new facility across the Grand River in 2005. Veterans Memorial Park was originally known as Courthouse Square, the site of the Kent County Courthouse. By 1871, it had been renamed Fulton Street Park, and today it's known as Veterans Memorial Park. The park itself was dedicated on November 11, 1926, funded by the Grand Rapids Council of the American Legion and public contributions. Inside are pillars that honor World War I veterans, as well as in 1945 a group of citizens petitioned for a World War II memorial that was also added. In 1975, 2 more pillars were added for those honoring those who were Vietnam veterans. Across the street here is the Grand Rapids Public Library that was founded in 1871 and initially was located within the Grand Rapids City Hall building. But in 1904, it was relocated to the Ryerson building and became a permanent home that was gifted by arts and education benefactor Martin A. Ryerson. One of our last buildings on our tour today is Park Congregational Church. The congregation that would become Park Church was originally organized in 1836 as a Presbyterian congregation with just 22 members. In 1839, it reorganized as the first Congregational Church of Grand Rapids. The congregation purchased a building in 1840 that was originally constructed in 1837 for our local Catholic parish, but unfortunately that parish could not afford it. By 1867, the congregation had outgrown that building and sold it to prepare for constructing this new church. This building itself had its ground broken in 1868, and the building was completed in 1869 at a cost of about $75,000. In 1915, a fellowship hall was also added to the church, and the sanctuary was completely refinished in 1930. I hope you've enjoyed this tour here through downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you're a resident of Grand Rapids, leave a message or leave a comment about some of the places I may have missed so that the next time I come through, I can make sure to capture those. Also, make sure to hit your like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Take care now. Bye-bye.